All right, so next up, Dez's Pimp hand stay strong. Sometimes I feel like, and this is who? This is Zyke, right?
Yeah, this is Steven Zeich. Yep.
Sometimes I feel like Zyke names his teams just so that we have to say them. You know, like it's like I'm gonna make these assholes say my title of my team.
Well, it's a lot better than last year's. Nobody understood what the fuck he was trying to say in his last year name. It's which was worse than the year before's, which was so terrible I can't even recall it. So yeah, it was about Roy Williams, and Roy Williams didn't understand it either. So at least this one makes sense. That's
It,
about all the credit I would give this one.
it does make sense. It is in his defense. It's not something you have to know the backstory because the year before was Big Ben there raped that, right?
Yeah.
which was classy. And then the next one, I think, was that Roy Williams proposed to a girl and she sent his ring back in the mail or something. But you really can't. That's not something you can get across in the title of a team. No backstory there. You have to know some history. Okay, so let's take a look at his roster and we'll assess him for more than just his shit team names.
All right. Well, he started off with Chris Johnson. I mean, the tremendous upside, 2,000-yard rusher. Can't really knock him. DeMarco Murray in the second round, I think that was a pretty decent pick, a lot of upside. Marco Turner, you know what? Stonehands is actually trying to catch some balls out of the backfield. He went running back, which is, never a terrible idea. I'm never gonna knock. I'm not gonna knock it unless you just pick, bums. Marquez Colston, he started getting his running back in the fourth and fifth round. He went with Marquez Colston and Brandon Lloyd. I don't like those two as your number one and number two wide receivers because they're in offenses that you don't know what's going to happen. Too many balls flying and too many receivers. Kenny Britt, great upside. He was doing great last year till he got hurt. He waited a while and he took the worst available starting quarterback in the seventh round. But the rest of his team, I mean, Tony Gonzalez, is he too old? That's a question to ask. He ended up taking Gresham later, but can't see it. He's weak at tight end. Malcolm Floyd in San Diego, we've been waiting for him to step up for, a year or two now. Andy Dalton's his backup. That's a pretty decent pick. Overall, I like his, he's pretty solid across the board. He's average. Not too many highs, definitely not too many lows.
I like his draft a lot more than you do. I'll say this. This is my question for you, just looking at the way it was drafted. When he took Marcus Colston, after Marcus Colston was drafted, Miles Davis. He played some jazz and then fucking broke out. Miles Austin, Des Bryant, Steve Smith, Demaryius Thomas, Vincent Jackson.
And Jordy Nelson.
All drafted after Marcus Colston.
And Jordy Nelson.
Oh, and Jordy Nelson. Okay, now I'll give him a little bit of slack on his pick of Brandon Lloyd. Because after Brandon Lloyd, it was like the Reggie Waynes and the Pierre Garçons of the world.
Yeah.
That's some serious talent drafted after you drafted Marcus Colston. So what do you think about that in particular? You think Colston's better?
That's what I'm saying. I said to me that's where he didn't pick the best possible receivers at the time. To me, he got the best running backs available at the time. So I love his running back picks. But I do not care for his wide receiver picks. Those offenses are too wide open. They go to everybody. You're expecting not everybody can get 100 balls, okay? And Graham is going to be in there. Darren Sproles going to catch something out of the backfield. Mark Ingram's going to get more involved in the offense, catching out of the backfield. Marcus Colston, he's going to get some. I mean, you still got Lance Moore over there. I just don't see Marcus Colston getting number one receiver numbers. I think that he could have gotten other players in that spot.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and give him my grade based on what I've said so far. I like his draft a lot more than you do again. I'm going to give him a B+. I think that I love the running back picks. I think Colston and Lloyd are going to be a little bit better than you do. I think when Britt comes on, Britt was drafted. When Britt was drafted, it was between him and Akeem Nicks in terms of who was a better player because they were, both Giants and the Titans were taking first-round wideouts. Britt's been right there with him numbers-wise. Now, he's a little bit of a knucklehead, more so than Akeem is, but I like Cutler when he got him. I like Tony G. I think he's got a couple more years. And Malcolm Floyd. So I think he's got a really, really solid draft. And if he gets something out of Brandon Lloyd, more so than we think he's going to get. I think he's got a chance to have a hell of a year. What's your
Well,
grade?
you know what? I gotta go with a B minus on this one for the simple fact that Tony G is the oldest starting tight end, and he's on his downslope. I'm sorry, there's no other way about it. He's gonna get about 50 balls. He's gonna get about 5 touchdowns at most, but he is a solid tight end. He's gonna catch the ball.
Well,
I don't.
I read on Wikipedia. I read on Tony Gonzalez's Wikipedia page that he caught a screen pass from Len Dawson when he was with the Chiefs. Is he that old, or is he? Because I know Moss caught one from Rippon. So did Gonzalez catch anything from Len Dawson?
He probably did, man. I mean, he's over the hill, man. He's rolling down it. I don't like the Jay Cutler pick at 8 as it started. I mean, you had Joe Flacco, Phillip Rivers, Ben Roethlisberger. All these guys were available to him, and I just can't see Jay Cutler being better than any one of those guys. I mean, I don't even think Andy Dalton's better than, Jay Cutler's better than Andy Dalton, to be honest with you. But maybe he sees something that we don't, but that's highly unlikely because I don't know when the last year was that he made the playoffs.
Well, here's what I need to know from you about Jay Cutler.
What's up?
When Jay Cutler got hurt last year, the Bears were on their way to being one of the best teams. So my question to you is, why are you so down on Jay Cutler? Because he was having a good year last year, and he now has Brandon Marshall.
Yes, but he's not in a town and on a team that's conducive to the quarterback. You know what I mean? Phillip Rivers is going to air out the ball in San Diego. Ben Roethlisberger's been throwing the shit out of the ball, 27 touchdowns a year. Joe Flacco, he was 1 touchdown pass away. He had 25, 30 touchdowns last year as well. I just don't see Cutler. Cutler makes a lot of bonehead mistakes. He had a lot of touchdowns, but wasn't there a game where he threw 4 interceptions?
Yeah. The guy is a gunslinger, that's for sure. But I mean, I don't know. I just think he'll get the numbers. I do.
Well, for his sake, I hope he does. I just think that he could have gotten him later. He could have gotten him as a backup, and he could have got a better starter. But overall, I like this. I like his running backs, and his running backs is where I really hold him to his team. And I think that I got to give him a B minus.
What's Matthew Berry got to say for himself?
Matthew Berry says, he goes, nice job. Your JV football coach would be proud. B minus.